Power of weed. This is the stuff. I've been my out all day. I failed. Hi, hello, and welcome back, you beautiful nerds, to another edition of a video. That's right, on this channel. So, have you noticed anything different apropos de moi? I mean, yeah, a bitch is blonde again, but anything else catch your eye? Okay, well, I'm not stoned. Did you notice? Well, if you didn't notice, that's kind of a part of the problem. I'm not saying that I've been high this entire time on Devin But Better, but I mean, weed has definitely had a speaking role in this production, if you know what I mean. Back in December, I woke up one morning and thought to myself, you know what would be a great idea? If I devoted half of the videos on my channel to body challenges and then called it Year of the Body. And every month I would tackle a new body challenge in the span of 30 days. I think you kind of know where I'm going with this, right? This month, I gave up the ganj. Hello and good morning. No, it's not the morning. What am I talking about? It's 2:20 in the afternoon. I'm about to take a break from my daily grind and workout. I am someone who really truly enjoys working out high. It just makes me feel like I'm a little bit more present in my workout. I used to, before the pandemic, have a rule: no smoking before 6 p.m. Then it became no smoking before 4:20 p.m. because 4:20. Now it's just no smoking in the mornings unless it's the weekend. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this challenge, I think we should talk about what my relationship with weed has been since the beginning. Cue romantic music. Me and Mary Jane first met when I was about 19 years old. I was at a house party where my friend Allie passed me the pipe and then sparked the bowl for me and then immediately handed me a piece of grapefruit. Now, if you've never been high before, you may be like, what? But if you have been on the good side of the devil's lettuce, bitch, you know. That piece of grapefruit turned into an electrical light parade in my mouth, and I was hooked. Now let's skip ahead to 2011 when this bitch moved to California, home of women, weed, and weather. The first time I smoked California bud, I was lifted. I believe that Justin Bieber said it best when he said that you get your peaches down in Georgia and your weed from California. That's that shit. California is to weed like France is to wine. But even though I was in the epicenter of that good, my relationship to weed really didn't change much. In college and a couple years after, I still remained just a social smoker. Don't worry, my good bitch, I still did stupid stuff like trying to sneak weed into my dorm rooms and making my own weed brownies, only to get so high that I ate 3 bags of Tostitos tortilla chips with lime. I woke up so thirsty. It was like, what happened to me? I had been known to be on a blunt hunt or two in my lifetime, but I still wasn't really a daily smoker. So what changed? Fucking adulthood, my guy. That's what changed it. The deeper I got into this bitch, the more I realized that being an adult blows. It fucking blows, my guy. It sucks. Kids, if you're watching, stay on the playground. Don't go inside for the rest of school. Don't grow up. Sure, I can go to bed like whenever I want, but the trade-off is laboring for the pleasure of paying my bills. I don't know if Adam Smith was aware of the monster that he was creating when he thought up capitalism. And if he was aware, like, absolutely fuck that guy. And that's where we find ourselves today, internet friends, on the precipice of this pseudo month-long tolerance break. So let's set some ground rules. Rule number 1, this is not a tolerance break. Because I am not in the business of perpetuating black and white thinking. As much as it would be neat and tidy for me to say that I've gone 30 days without smoking weed, that's not the goal of this video. I would take 30 days to examine how weed affects me, how it holds me back, how it helps me. And I would really like to reestablish a new relationship to cannabis. Tolerance breaks tend to be like a cold turkey, hard reset for your body. And that's not really what I want to do. I want a soft reset, you know? Because I'm a soft bitch. Soft body. Look at all this radical softness. Okay, I'm focusing. All right. In general, I want more information about myself because exiting this challenge, I don't want to be a daily weed smoker anymore. So there will be times in this month where I might smoke a little bit to examine why I reached for it, if it's my crutch, and if it is my crutch, like, what am I using it to help me with? If I were to break it down for like the data analysts watching this video, hi Meredith, it would be, I wanna be 80% clean in the next month. Even that, I hate that term, clean. I don't wanna smoke 80% of the next month. Good evening. It is St. Patty's Day up in this bitch. I was luxurious. I had a gin and tonic or two. About to roll myself up another joint for today. This will be my third, really my second and a half, because I split the last one with Patrick. But it's all about examining our habits. And like, you may be watching this and you may be thinking, bitch, she had 2 gin and tonics and 2.5 joints at the end of the table. Or you may be thinking, that's it? Like, fuck. And I'm saying to you, you shouldn't be thinking any of that. Like, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about our limits. Because, bitch, I've got mine. And they are completely different from yours. I'm touching mine. I just need to take a step back and observe my habits. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. We're gonna do it for a month. We're gonna go on an adventure. It's gonna suck for a while, but then we're gonna learn about ourselves. And it's gonna be so good. So, bitch, buckle up. But this is like what I tend to roll myself. I like a long filter and a little short guy. So on a day-to-day basis, like today, this is my third. Sometimes I put a little keef. For those of you who don't know, keef is the high-potency shit that collects at the bottom of your grinder. That's like, is she talking to herself in the bathroom? Never mind, Pat knows I talk to myself in the bathroom. He just leaves me alone. This is part of the agreement. I'm not feeling great about giving this up. In T-minus 3 days, 2 days. Fuck. So my goal was to start on March 19th, which would give me the entire month to detoxify and get reacquainted with my sober self. And this plan would also allow me to celebrate 420, which is a sacred holiday for stoners everywhere. But even that word, stoner, hits me weird. I understand I am one, but I just have a complicated relationship with that word. Like before the pandemic, I equated stoners with people who are able to smoke throughout the day and complete their work tasks, their life stuffs, and their social activities as if they were sober. And before this pandemic, this was not me. But, my good bitch, if you did call me after 6 p.m., you would just have to be prepared to meet the entwife side of my personality. What is an entwife? For those of you who don't know, our entwife is a subreddit that I subscribe to. And it's essentially a place for people who identify as a woman of the trees. It's a happy little corner of the internet where people post photos of their gardening, their fashion, their accessories, and we all comment, we're all like, that's beautiful, you're beautiful, I hope you have a beautiful day. It's a really nice place. We're all very high. And I'm happy to be an entwife. But a stoner? That word just makes me feel like I'm every character that Seth Green played in the 90s. You know the type. They're a little bit out of touch with the world around them and they're just like vibes, you know? And that label just doesn't really align with my personality because I'm still a bitch. You know? So believe it or not, I was actually kind of excited to enter this month and kind of shed that nomenclature that I had been carrying around for the entire pandemic. So for support, I turned to another subreddit called Our Leaves. This community is just as beautiful as Entwives, but it is a community that supports people who are trying to quit weed. And I have to say that spending a lot of time on this subreddit, I mean, it kind of made me sad. Poking around on this subreddit reminded me that weed is very much a drug and it depresses and sedates, and it kind of made me second guess myself. Like, have I been twisting the truth of weed's effect on me just so I could be a part of like weed culture? I was struck though, however, how the folks on this subreddit really spent a lot of time emphasizing all of the good things that you gain when you step away from cannabis. And to be honest, I was kind of looking forward to that piece. So luckily for me, right at the beginning of this challenge, I finally got the opportunity to get my COVID vaccine. I had been shopping around for an extra dose at pharmacies like a couple weekends prior, and I finally got that dolly in my arm. I congratulated myself on the incredible timing. Like, goodbye THC, hello antibodies, right? Hi, I feel like garbage. I don't know if it's because I had the first Moderna vaccine or if it's because it's 8 o'clock at night and I haven't smoked weed yet. Not to be gross, internet, but I've been my out all day. I just really would love to smoke weed today, right now, because I'm so uncomfortable. I was able to get everything done today, and I was able to say, no, I don't want to smoke weed on habits like going to Haven, watering the lawn. But right now I'm lying here and I'm like, oh, should I just go to bed? Because I feel like garbage. Now I know what you might be thinking. Devin, what you're experiencing feels like weed withdrawals. I mean, the nausea, the fatigue, the vomiting, the butt distress, all of that could be connected maybe to giving up weed. But it seemed very odd and bizarre to me because, like I said, I've given up weed before. I think it's the vaccine because it felt like an allergic reaction. Like hell, water was giving me issues. But this pandemic has been really hard. And I know from news articles that alcohol sales have skyrocketed in the past year. And I know it's a very human trait to lean on our vices when the world is rapidly changing around us. But that first week, y'all, I was struggling. This is day 2 after my Moderna vaccine, and I have just been having the most insane reaction to it, and I feel like a special case of the specials because it seems like no one else in my household / anyone else I know gets this way. What I've done to my own bathroom in the past 48 hours is a crime.
We called the plumber and then we told him that he actually can't come in.
Not for the toilet or anything, but for the sink, and we told him he couldn't come over today.
He asked no follow-up questions.
Yeah, did not. So I've had a lot of gastro distress, both ends, and I have a lot of work to do. I need to edit all night tonight to get a video out tomorrow, and I just am so uncomfortable and so nauseous. I think I'm gonna smoke some weed, but I'm not discounting it as an automatic fail, and here's why. Back in the day before I became a daily weed smoker, I had a rule for myself where I did not smoke consecutive days. That of course went out the window. I feel like I'm still winding back the clock. I didn't smoke at all yesterday. I need it today. I'm leaning on it as a tummy medicinal.
We're making this TMI segment go down easier with a bit of a slightly annoyed cat.
I don't know when I became a daily smoker. Like I said, it kind of happened gradually. As my life began to grow, I started taking on more responsibilities, and I kind of started relying on weed to help bring me down at the end of every day. This pandemic took my relationship with weed and made it even deeper. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna open up this conversation because during 2020, there were times where I was just sparking up at lunchtime. I was writing scripts high. I was shooting our videos high. It just kind of felt like the world was in chaos. And for me, cannabis provides a much needed buffer between me and my feelings. And we all know that I'm a big feeler. I'm really incensed when people are hurt or holding back their feelings. I take in people's reactions and sometimes take it to heart. And oftentimes that whole transaction causes me to react a lot. It's exhausting. Weed is a substance that helps me to respond and not react. Now, there are common side effects that a lot of people get from smoking weed that I don't experience. Like some people, for example, get panic attacks on the onset of smoking weed. And I think that's happened to me maybe twice in my 12 years of smoking. I don't even really get the munchies either, or the cravings. I still live my life as normal. But again, that's not everyone's experience, and you can always have too much of a good thing. So yeah, that first week was messy, very messy, and I kind of felt a little guilty because I thought, wow, this is another year of the body challenge that I'm not able to do at 100 because of some life reason. But on the flip side, I did start this challenge saying, hey, this is not gonna be black and white, cold turkey. This is not a tolerance break. I smoked a little bit and I feel so much better. I'm able to get some work done. I'm still pretty nauseous, but I'm able to just kind of sip tea and be okay. The power of weed, this is the stuff. This is one of the reasons why I think I've gravitated towards weed a little bit more in 2020, just because I've definitely experienced more nervous tummy, and weed has been really helpful, helping me have an appetite, helping me get to sleep at night, and then helping seriously calm my stomach so I'm not in seizing pain. Thank you, weed. This whole vaccine mess made me realize that I use weed as a medicinal substance. I get cramps, I get waves of nausea throughout the day. And at the end of the day, when I'm usually eating dinner, I have no appetite, which made me realize fuck, what other problems is weed covering up for me? Also, I can say very confidently, the first week of this challenge sucked. Would the rest of this month suck just as much. I mean, I wasn't feeling any of the good effects that our leaves talked about. I just felt pain. But this is the year of the body. So, this is part 1, my beautiful nerds. Tune in next week for part 2 of Giving Up the Ganj. Oh, and let me say, we're talking about weed, which can be a very controversial subject in America and other countries. So let's keep the comments respectful. Everyone has their own relationship with weed, and just keep yourself open-minded and curious. That's all. I love you, you beautiful nerds, so freaking much. And I'll see you next week.